Zara's sensors chirped incessantly as her small research vessel approached the third planet of an unremarkable yellow star. She had been mapping this sector of space for cycles, cataloging uninhabited worlds for potential colonization. This system had been marked as devoid of intelligent life, but something was different. Curious, she muttered, her four eyes blinking in rapid succession. The planet's surface was a patchwork of white and blue, with great swaths of brown and green beginning to emerge. It was a world in transition, thawing from what must have been a devastating ice age. But it was the artificial structures that caught her attention. Scattered across the globe, mostly concentrated near bodies of water, were unmistakable signs of civilization. Cities, or what remained of them, peeking out from under retreating glaciers. Zara's tendrils quivered with excitement. This was unprecedented. No known species had survived a global freeze of this magnitude. She opened a comm channel to her homeworld, knowing the message would take cycles to reach them. Central, this is Scout Zara. I found something extraordinary. Requesting immediate backup and a full research team. Sending coordinates now. As she waited for a response, Zara guided her ship into a lower orbit. Her scanners swept the surface, searching for signs of life. At first, she found nothing but the ghostly remnants of a lost civilization. But then, deep beneath the surface, she detected faint energy signatures. Impossible, she breathed. The readings were clear. Kilometers below the icy crust, there was activity, artificial heat, electricity, and most surprisingly, organic life signs. Whatever species had built those ruined cities had somehow survived, retreating underground to escape the devastating cold. Zara's mind raced with questions. How long had they been down there? How had they managed to sustain themselves? And most importantly, what would they be like after such an ordeal? She was tempted to land immediately, to make first contact herself. But protocol demanded she wait for backup. This situation was too delicate, too important to risk a misstep. As she orbited the planet, Zara compiled her observations. The ice age appeared to have lasted for at least 1,000 cycles, possibly longer. The fact that any species could survive such an event, let alone maintain some level of technology, was astonishing. Her scanners picked up more details with each pass. The underground habitats were vast, sprawling complexes that seemed to house thousands, perhaps even millions of individuals. They appeared to be powered by geothermal energy, tapping into the planet's core heat. Ingenious, Zora marveled. These beings, whoever they were, had found a way to endure what should have been an extinction-level event. Days passed as Zora continued her observations, her excitement growing with each new discovery. She detected faint radio signals emanating from the underground cities, suggesting the inhabitants were not only alive but communicating with each other across their world. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, her comm system crackled to life. Scout Zara, this is Central. Your message has been received and verified. A research vessel has been dispatched to your location. Maintain orbit and continue observations. Do not attempt contact. Repeat, do not attempt contact. Zara acknowledged the order, even as she felt a twinge of disappointment. She had hoped to be the one to greet these remarkable survivors, but she understood the caution. First contact was a delicate process, one that could shake the relationship between species for generations to come. As she settled in to wait for the research team, Zora's gaze was drawn once again to the planet below. The ice continued to recede, revealing more of the world that had been hidden for so long. And somewhere below, an entire civilization waited, unaware that they were about to step onto a galactic stage. Zara couldn't help but wonder, were they ready for what was to come? And more importantly, was the galaxy ready for them? The research vessel, Celestial Envoy, arrived in Earth's orbit 2 weeks after Zara's initial discovery. Dr. Xen, the mission's lead xenoanthropologist, wasted no time in organizing the first descent to the planet's surface. Remember, Xen addressed the team, his bioluminescent skin pulsing with excitement. We are here to observe and initiate peaceful contact. These beings have survived unimaginable hardship. We must approach with utmost caution and respect. As their shuttle pierced the atmosphere, the true scale of Earth's transformation became apparent. Vast ice sheets were retreating, exposing land that hadn't seen sunlight in millennia. Ruins of ancient cities dotted the landscape, silent testaments to a civilization that refused to die. The team landed near one of the larger underground complexes Aura had detected. Using advanced scanning technology, they mapped out a safe approach to what appeared to be an airlock system. Dr. Xen stepped forward, activating the universal translator. "We come in peace," he broadcast on all frequencies. "We are visitors from beyond your world, seeking peaceful contact." For several tense minutes, there was no response. Then, with a hiss of hydraulics, the massive airlock began to open. A group of figures emerged, clad in environment suits that obscured their features. One of them stepped forward, raising a hand in what seemed to be a gesture of greeting. "We welcome you," a voice crackled through their communicators. Though we must admit, we had almost given up hope of ever seeing visitors from the stars. Dr. Xen's tendrils rippled with relief and excitement. "We are honored to meet you. We have many questions, if you are willing to share your story." The human spokesperson nodded. "As do we. Please, follow us. The surface is still hostile to prolonged exposure." As they descended into the underground city, the alien team was struck by the ingenuity and resilience on display. The complex was a marvel of engineering, a self-contained ecosystem that had sustained life for centuries. In a large chamber that served as a meeting hall, both groups finally removed their protective gear. The humans gasped at the sight of their alien visitors, while the xenoanthropologists marveled at the adaptations humans had undergone. Generations of living underground had left the humans pale, with larger eyes adapted to low-light conditions. Yet they stood tall, their faces a mix of caution and hope. "I am Elena, Chief Coordinator of New Athens," the spokesperson introduced herself. "On behalf of humanity, I welcome you to Earth." Dr. Xen bowed slightly. "I am Dr. Xen, lead researcher of the Celestial Envoy. We are astounded by what you have accomplished here. How did your people survive the Great Freeze?" Elena's expression turned solemn. "It was not easy. When our scientists predicted the coming ice age, many didn't believe it until it was almost too late. In a desperate gambit, we built these underground sanctuaries, powered by the Earth's core. Millions perished in the early years, but we adapted, we endured." The aliens listened in awe as Elena recounted humanity's struggle for survival. They learned of the sacrifices made, the innovations born of necessity, and the unwavering hope that had sustained them. "And now," Elena concluded, "the ice is finally receding. We've begun to send expeditions to the surface, to reclaim our world. Your arrival couldn't have come at a more pivotal moment." Dr. Xen nodded, his mind racing with the implications. "Your story will inspire galaxies, Elena. We would be honored to assist in your resurgence, to share our knowledge and technology." Elena smiled, but there was a hint of wariness in her eyes. "We are grateful for the offer, Dr. Xen. But we have learned harsh lessons about depending too much on technology. Perhaps we can find a balance, learning from each other." As the first contact meeting continued, both humans and aliens realized they stood at the threshold of a new era. The universe had just become a much more interesting place, and the story of Earth's resurrection would echo across the stars. But as hope and excitement filled the chamber, none could foresee the challenges and conflicts that lay ahead, as two very different cultures began their delicate dance of cooperation and understanding. In the months that followed first contact, Earth became a hub of frenetic activity. The alien research team, now expanded to include specialists from various fields, worked alongside human scientists to accelerate Earth's recovery. Dr. Xen found himself constantly amazed by human ingenuity. "Your species has a remarkable ability to adapt," he remarked to Elena as they toured a hydroponic farm that stretched for kilometers underground. Elena nodded, pride evident in her voice. "Necessity breeds innovation, Dr. Xen. When your only choice is adapt or die, you'd be surprised what you can accomplish. The aliens introduced advanced terraforming techniques, helping to stabilize Earth's climate and accelerate the regrowth of ecosystems. Humans, in turn, shared their unparalleled expertise in subsurface living and resource management. However, as the initial excitement of contact waned, cultural differences began to surface. The aliens, with their highly advanced technology, often proposed solutions that seemed miraculous to humans. Yet many Earth leaders, Alina included, were hesitant to embrace these quick fixes. "We appreciate your offer to repopulate our oceans with genetically engineered fish," Alina explained during a tense council meeting. "But we've learned the hard way that interfering with nature's balance can have unforeseen consequences." Dr. Xen's skin flickered with frustration. "But our simulations show a 99.8% success rate. We could restore your marine ecosystems within a decade." "And what of the 0.2%? countered Alina. "We nearly destroyed our world once through overconfidence. We won't make that mistake again." Such disagreements became increasingly common. The aliens, while well-intentioned, struggled to understand humanity's caution. To them, technology was the solution to every problem. The concept of intentionally choosing the slower, more difficult path was alien indeed. Humans, for their part, often found the aliens' reliance on technology unsettling. Centuries of survival had ingrained a deep respect for natural processes and a wariness of quick solutions. Yet despite these tensions, genuine friendships formed. Zara, the scout who had first discovered Earth, became particularly close to a human scientist named Marcus. "I envy your people sometimes," Marcus confessed one day as they watched the sunset from a newly established surface outpost. "The things you can do, the places you've seen. It's like magic to us." Zara's tendrils waved thoughtfully. "Perhaps, but there's something about your species, Marcus. A resilience, a drive. It's unlike anything I've encountered in my explorations." Their conversation was interrupted by an alert from Marcus's communicator. Alina's voice came through, tense and urgent. "Marcus, we need you and Zara at the council chamber immediately. There's been a development." As they hurried back to the underground city, Zara couldn't shake a feeling of unease. The cooperation between their species had been productive, but fragile. She feared whatever news awaited them might upset the delicate balance they'd achieved. In the council chamber, they found Alina in heated discussion with Dr. Xen and several other alien researchers. The atmosphere was charged with tension. "What's happening?" Marcus asked, looking between the two groups. Alina turned to them, her expression grave. "We've intercepted communications from the alien homeworld. It seems not everyone shares our visitors' altruistic intentions." Dr. Xen stepped forward, his skin pale with distress. "There's been a misunderstanding. Unsure if we—" "A misunderstanding." Alina cut him off. "Your leaders are discussing Earth as if it's already their property. They're making plans to relocate us." Zara felt a wave of shock and dismay. This couldn't be true. Yet as she looked at Dr. Xen's face, she saw guilt and conflict warring there. As accusations flew and tensions rose, Zara realized they stood at a crossroads. The fragile trust between humans and aliens hung by a thread. Whatever came next would shape not just Earth's future, but potentially that of the entire galaxy. The cultural exchange that had begun with such hope now teetered on the brink of disaster. As the argument in the council chamber escalated, Zara knew that hard choices lay ahead, choices that would test the loyalty and principles of everyone involved. The revelation of the alien leadership's true intentions sent shockwaves through both communities. In the days that followed, the once bustling collaborative projects ground to a halt as suspicion and resentment took hold. Dr. Xen, desperate to salvage the situation, called an emergency meeting with his research team. "There must be some explanation," he insisted, his bioluminescence flickering erratically with stress. "Our mission has always been one of peace and mutual benefit." Zara, however, had been doing her own digging. "I'm afraid it's worse than we thought," she said, her voice heavy. She projected a series of encrypted messages she'd managed to intercept and decode. These are communications between our homeworld and a covert team embedded within our group. The room fell silent as the team read through the damning evidence. It detailed plans to systematically undermine human autonomy, manipulating Earth's recovery to make it more suitable for alien colonization. The leadership believed that humans, weakened by centuries underground, would be easy to subjugate or relocate to off-world colonies. "This is unconscionable," Dr. Xen whispered, his earlier denial crumbling in the face of irrefutable proof. "Everything we stand for, everything we've worked towards." Zora placed a comforting tendril on his shoulder. "Not everything. We didn't know Xen. But now that we do, we have a choice to make." The team debated furiously. Some argued for immediately informing the humans and facing the consequences. Others suggested they should return home and fight the conspiracy from within their own society. "No," Zora said firmly. "We owe it to the humans to stand with them. They've survived an ice age. They don't need saviors. They need allies." Meanwhile, in the Human Council chambers, Alina and Marcus were facing their own crisis. The revelation had sparked calls for immediately expelling all aliens from Earth, even using force if necessary. "We can't trust them," thundered one council member. "For all we know, this leaked information could be a ploy to gauge our reactions." Alina raised her hands for calm. "We must not let fear drive us to rash actions. Not all of the aliens were aware of this plot. We need to identify our true allies." Marcus nodded in agreement. "Zara and Dr. Xen have been nothing but helpful and transparent. We should at least hear them out before making any decisions." As if on cue, there was a commotion at the chamber doors. Zara, Dr. Xen, and a handful of other aliens entered, their expressions a mix of determination and apprehension. "We come to you in honesty and shame," Dr. Xen began, his voice quavering but resolute. "The actions of our leadership are reprehensible, and we cannot stand by while they threaten your world and your sovereignty." Zara stepped forward, offering a data crystal to Alina. "This contains all the information we've gathered about the conspiracy, including the identities of the covert operatives among us. We place ourselves at your mercy and offer our full cooperation in defending Earth." A tense silence fell over the chamber. Alina studied the aliens before her, seeing the genuine anguish and resolve in their alien features. She realized that this moment would define not just Earth's future, but potentially the moral character of two civilizations. "Your courage is noted and appreciated," Alina said finally. "But trust, once broken, is not easily mended. What do you propose we do?" Dr. Xen straightened, his bioluminescence pulsing with renewed purpose. "We fight back, not with weapons, but with truth. We expose the conspiracy to both our peoples. Earth's story, your resilience, your ingenuity, needs to be told across the galaxy. It will turn public opinion against any colonization efforts." Marcus leaned in, his mind racing with possibilities. "We could use your technology to broadcast Earth's history, our struggle for survival. Show the galaxy that we're not some weak species to be pitied or exploited, but equals worthy of respect." As the humans and loyal aliens began to formulate a plan, a new sense of unity emerged. The conspiracy, meant to divide and conquer, had instead forged a stronger alliance. Earth's fate hung in the balance, but for the first time since the revelation, there was a glimmer of hope. They knew the path ahead would be fraught with danger. Confronting the alien leadership and swaying galactic opinion was a daunting task. But as they looked around at their unlikely coalition, humans who had endured an ice age and aliens willing to stand against their own people for what was right, they felt the stirring of something powerful. A shared determination to write a new chapter in the story of Earth and the galaxy. The following weeks were a whirlwind of activity as humans and their alien allies worked tirelessly to counter the looming threat. The underground cities of Earth, once sanctuaries from the ice, now buzzed with a different kind of energy, one of resistance and hope. Alina, Marcus, Zara, and Dr. Xen formed the core of this new alliance. They gathered in a repurposed war room, surrounded by holographic displays showing the latest intelligence and simulations. Our biggest advantage is that they don't know we've uncovered their plan, Alina said, studying a map of known alien outposts on Earth. We need to use that element of surprise effectively. Dr. Xen nodded, his tendrils twitching with nervous energy. I've been in contact with sympathizers back home. There's growing unrest about the ethical implications of colonization. If we can get our message out, we might find more allies than we thought. Zara had been working on that very problem. She pulled up a schematic of a complex device. This is a modified version of our long-range communication array. With some adjustments, we can piggyback on the galactic communication network and broadcast our message to every corner of known space. Marcus whistled, impressed. That's a lot of hardware. How long to build it? With human and alien engineering working together. Zara's eyes twinkled. Faster than you'd think. As they planned, more aliens defected to their cause. Those who had been part of the conspiracy, racked with guilt, provided crucial information about the colonization plans. Humans, in turn, shared their most closely guarded secrets of survival, fostering a deeper trust between the species. On the surface, joint teams worked to establish a network of broadcast stations. The receding ice revealed suitable locations, often atop mountains or in remote valleys. It was dangerous work. The surface was still prone to extreme weather and treacherous terrain, but the shared sense of purpose drove them on. In underground labs, human scientists and alien technicians collaborated on a different front. They were preparing Earth's story for transmission, a multimedia chronicle of humanity's struggle and triumph over near extinction. We need to show not just our resilience, Alina insisted during a review session, but our value. The unique perspectives we've gained, the innovations born from necessity. These are things that can benefit the entire galaxy. Dr. Xen agreed, adding, and we must emphasize the ethical imperatives. No species has the right to simply claim another's homeworld, no matter how advanced they might be. As the alliance grew stronger, so did the bonds between individuals. Zara and Marcus, in particular, found their friendship deepening into something more. One evening, as they worked late calibrating a transmitter, Marcus broached a subject that had been on his mind. Zara, he began hesitantly, when this is all over, what happens to you and the others who've helped us? Won't you be considered traitors? Zara was quiet for a moment, her tendrils curling thoughtfully. Perhaps, but I've seen the best of both our species working together these past weeks. Whatever happens, I know I'm on the right side of history. Marcus placed a hand on her shoulder, a gesture that had become natural despite their physiological differences. Whatever happens, you'll always have a home here. Their moment was interrupted by an urgent call. Alina's voice crackled over the comm system. We've got movement. Multiple alien ships have entered the system. Looks like they're done waiting. The Alliance snapped into action. Years of underground living had honed humanity's ability to mobilize quickly, and their alien allies brought advanced tactical knowledge to bear. We're not ready, Dr. Xen said, his skin paling. The broadcast network isn't fully operational. Alina's voice was steel. Then we work with what we have. Zara, how many stations can we bring online? 3, maybe 4 if we push it, Zara replied, her fingers flying over the controls. Do it, Alina commanded. Marcus, start the transmission. Dr. Xen, contact your sympathizers. It's time to show the galaxy who we really are. As the alien ships drew closer, a tense silence fell over the command center. Everything they had worked for came down to this moment. Would their message be heard? Would it be enough to stop the colonization effort? Marcus took a deep breath and pressed the broadcast initiation sequence. Across the planet, transmitters hummed to life, sending Earth's story streaking across the stars. The Alliance had made their move. Now, They could only wait and hope that the truth would be enough to turn the tide. The alien fleet hung in Earth's orbit, a looming presence that cast a shadow over the planet's newfound hope. In the underground command center, tension crackled like electricity as the Alliance awaited a response to their broadcast. Any reaction? Elena asked, her eyes fixed on the holographic display of the fleet. Marcus shook his head. Nothing yet, but our message is still propagating through the galactic network. It'll take time to reach everyone. Dr. Xen's communicator suddenly chimed. He answered, his tendrils twitching nervously. After a brief exchange, he turned to the others, his bioluminescence pulsing with excitement. It's working. My contacts report growing outrage across our homeworld. Public opinion is turning against the colonization plan. A cheer went up from the assembled humans and aliens, but Elena raised a hand for quiet. It's a start, but we're not out of danger yet. Those ships are still up there, and I doubt their commanders will give up easily. As if in response to her words, a new signal cut through their communications. A stern alien face materialized on the main screen. Admiral Vex, leader of the invasion fleet. This is Admiral Vex of the Galactic Expansion Force. Your attempts at resistance are futile. Surrender now, and we will ensure your species' survival under our benevolent rule. Elena stepped forward, her voice steady. This is Elena, Chief Coordinator of Earth. We reject your offer. Earth is our home, and we will defend it. The Admiral's eyes narrowed. You are in no position to negotiate. Your planet is weak, your population a fraction of what it once was. We offer you a chance at a future among the stars. A future as second-class citizens, Dr. Xen interjected, joining Elena. Admiral, I implore you to reconsider. What we're doing here is wrong. Vex's expression hardened. Dr. Xen, I see the reports of your treachery were not exaggerated. You will be dealt with accordingly. Before the Admiral could continue, Zara interrupted. Sir, you need to see this. She pulled up a series of data streams. Our broadcast is going viral across the galactic network. Protests are erupting on multiple worlds, including our own. The Galactic Council is calling for an emergency session. Vex's composure slipped for a moment, surprise flickering across his alien features. He opened his mouth to respond, but another transmission cut him off. A new face appeared on the screen. Arbiter Zol of the Galactic Council. Her expression was grave. Admiral Vex, you are hereby ordered to stand down. Earth is to be placed under the protection of the Galactic Council pending a full investigation. The command center erupted in cheers, but Elena kept her focus on the screens. Admiral Vex looked furious, but after a tense moment, he nodded stiffly. Understood, Arbiter. We will comply. As the transmission ended, Elena turned to her team. This isn't over yet. We've bought ourselves some time, but now we need to make our case to the Galactic Council. Dr. Xen stepped forward. I volunteer to represent Earth's interests. I've seen firsthand the strength and potential of humanity. I can speak to both the ethical concerns and the benefits of allowing Earth to remain sovereign. Elena nodded gratefully. Thank you, Xen, but you shouldn't go alone. She looked at Marcus and Zara. You two have been instrumental in this alliance. Will you join the delegation? Both agreed without hesitation. As they prepared for their journey, Marcus pulled Elena aside. What about you? Shouldn't Earth's leader be part of this? Elena smiled sadly. My place is here, Marcus. Our people are emerging from centuries underground. They'll need guidance as we reclaim our world. I trust you three to represent us. The next few days were a blur of preparation. As the delegation readied themselves for their journey to the Galactic Council, the situation on Earth continued to evolve. The alien fleet withdrew to a respectful distance, and the first tentative steps were taken to establish formal diplomatic relations. On the day of departure, Elena addressed a gathering of humans and allied aliens. Today, we take our place on the galactic stage. Not as victims or as conquerors, but as equals. Our strength lies not in technology or numbers, but in our resilience, our adaptability, and our unwavering spirit. As Marcus, Zora, and Dr. Xen boarded the shuttle that would take them to the Council, they felt the weight of an entire planet's hopes on their shoulders. The diplomatic showdown ahead would determine not just Earth's fate, but potentially reshape galactic politics. The shuttle lifted off, leaving behind a planet in transformation. Ice continued to recede, revealing a world scared but unbowed. And as they broke through the atmosphere, the delegates carried with them the indomitable spirit of a species that had faced extinction and emerged stronger. The next chapter of Earth's story was about to be written, not in ice and isolation, but in the grand forum of the galaxy. The Galactic Council Chamber was a marvel of alien architecture, a vast amphitheater suspended in space. Representatives from thousands of worlds filled the tiered seats, their diverse forms a testament to the variety of life in the universe. At the center stood the Earth delegation, Marcus, Zora, and Dr. Xen, facing the Council's ruling body. Arbiter Zol's voice rang out, silencing the murmurs. "We are gathered to address the situation on Earth and the actions of the Galactic Expansion Force. Let the proceedings begin." For hours, the delegates presented their case. Dr. Xen spoke eloquently of humanity's resilience and potential. Zora provided technical data on Earth's recovery and the innovations born from adversity. Marcus shared stories of human history, culture, and the unbreakable spirit that had carried them through an ice age. "We do not come before you asking for pity or protection," Marcus concluded. "We come as equals, ready to take our place among the stars. Earth has much to offer the galactic community, if given the chance." The Council deliberated, their discussion a cacophony of alien languages. Finally, Arbiter Zol raised a hand for silence. "The Council has reached a decision," she announced. "Earth will be recognized as a sovereign world, with full rights and protections under galactic law. Furthermore, the actions of the Galactic Expansion Force are deemed unlawful. Reparations will be made, and policies regarding first contact and non-interference will be strengthened." A cheer went up from many of the assembled representatives. The Earth delegation shared looks of relief and triumph. But Arbiter Zol wasn't finished. However, she continued, "Given Earth's unique situation and the potential benefits of controlled cultural exchange, we propose a compromise. A joint human-alien outpost will be established on Earth, serving as a hub for scientific cooperation and diplomatic relations. This outpost will be under shared jurisdiction, respecting Earth's sovereignty while fostering interspecies collaboration." The delegates huddled together, discussing the proposal. It wasn't perfect, but it offered a path forward that respected Earth's independence while opening doors to the wider galaxy. "We accept," Marcus announced, standing tall. As the council session concluded, the delegates were swarmed by representatives from various worlds, all eager to establish relations with Earth. The planet that had been isolated for centuries was now at the center of galactic attention. Months passed. On Earth, the news of the Council's decision was met with jubilation and cautious optimism. The process of reclaiming the surface accelerated, with alien technology carefully integrated to support, not supplant, human efforts. The joint outpost, dubbed New Horizon, took shape on a reclaimed island in the Pacific. It was a shining beacon of cooperation, its architecture a blend of human aesthetics and alien efficiency. Scientists from across the galaxy flocked to study Earth's unique ecosystems and the adaptations of its species. Elena, still serving as Earth's chief coordinator, oversaw the gradual reemergence of humanity. Underground cities slowly emptied as new surface settlements were established. Fields of green began to spread across lands long buried under ice. On the day New Horizon officially opened, Elena stood with Marcus, Zora, and Dr. Xen, watching as human and alien dignitaries mingled. "I never imagined this day would come," Elena mused. "When we were deep underground, just surviving. The idea of standing here, as part of a galactic community, seemed impossible." Dr. Xen's skin rippled with warm colors. "Your people have taught us much about the power of perseverance. The galaxy is richer for your presence. Zara nodded in agreement. And this is just the beginning. Think of the discoveries we'll make together, the challenges we'll overcome. Marcus smiled, taking in the scene. Human children played with young aliens, their laughter a universal language. Scientists huddled over shared projects, trading ideas that spanned light years. In the sky above, ships from a dozen worlds moved in harmonious traffic. It won't always be easy, he said. We have centuries of isolation to overcome, prejudices on both sides to address. But looking at this, he gestured to the vibrant scene before them. I think we're off to a good start. As the sun set on new horizon, painting the sky in brilliant hues, the four friends raised glasses in a toast. To survival against all odds, to unlikely alliances forged in adversity, to the indomitable spirit of life, whether human or alien, and to the promise of a future among the stars, built on mutual respect and shared discovery. Earth had emerged from its long winter into a cosmic spring, full of challenge and possibility. The next chapter of human history was beginning, written not in isolation, but as part of a vast, complex, and wondrous galactic community. As night fell and the stars emerged, they seemed to shine brighter than ever before, no longer distant and unreachable, but beacons of new worlds to explore, new friends to meet, and new wonders to discover. Earth's long night had ended. A new dawn had begun.